Hello, I'm Malcolm Haslett. Now that print media doesn't usually run entertainment and music information, how do you find out what's on if you want to go out and see a show? Well, there's a new app for that. And guess what? It's free. Find out more next on OurTime. And welcome to OurTime. Do you know, over the last few years, finding what's on in a town is becoming more and more difficult because print media doesn't have what it used to have, like a page of what movies were on or what live shows were on, what bands were on. And you really had to know where to look to find out if you wanted to go out at night, where do I find it? Well, Danny Brookes, who is the founding and managing director of City Guide here in South Australia, has come up with the solution, and it's free to the public. Danny, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Aren't you a clever boy?
Thank you very much.
No, but how long did it take for you to come up with this idea? Because it's so obvious, but nobody else had.
It's true, and it's an idea that I've had for well over 7 years now, actually. I first thought of this while working here in Adelaide on various campaigns for different fringe festival shows and also working on different theatre show campaigns as well. And it was during the time of working for smaller independent companies and then also larger organisations as well that I started to realise that there wasn't really a kind of central platform where the public could go to find out, what their options were. And that's when I started to think more carefully about the need for a service like City Guide. And actually it was only in the last couple of years, shortly before COVID, that I thought, actually, I really need to have a crack at this. Google hasn't done it properly, Facebook hasn't really done it properly. And
no, because you've got to know what you're looking for to start with. But you don't need to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, the platform's designed to be kind of like Netflix, but for live events. So without having to commit, without having to subscribe to anything, you can quickly go through and browse all your different options in one convenient place.
Or if there's a venue close to you and you want to know what's on tonight.
Exactly, correct.
Find music.
And actually, I think there's many different ways that people like to find events. So it could be by venue, it could be as part of a festival program, it could be by artist, or date. They just want to see what's on this weekend and go through that way. And this platform makes it really easy to find those options.
So here in South Australia, the Fringe is about to start. So this may be, like Fringe Guide gives you all of this sort of information, but you can load a lot more onto the site.
That's correct, and actually there's several other festivals happening at the same time. So not only is there Fringe and then the subsidiaries, you've got WOMAD Adelaide Festival, you've also got the subsidiaries as well, so the Garden of Unearthly Delights, you've got Gluttony, and we have that all on the platform as well. You mentioned WOMAD Festival, we've got Adelaide Festival on there as well.
Of course. We all forget the whole festival started as the Adelaide Festival of Arts, and the Fringe was the Fringe. Now the Fringe is bigger than everything. And people are sort of forgetting, hang on, there's an actual festival going on.
We've even got South Start Festival, which is a really exciting new tech festival coming to Adelaide as well. So that's also worth checking out. And this platform is designed to make it really easy to browse through all those different festivals and to explore the different events that make part of those festivals.
Right. Well, let's explore you to start with.
Sure.
That's a daunting question.
Far away.
Okay, so you're a young man, you've just been born into a family, and you're starting going to school. Were you sort of onto this thinking in those days?
I was really interested in performing arts as a kid, and I was the performer. So I would be in all the dance performances or theatre in the school, or you name it, I was in it. And it was probably as I was probably more in my teens, I got more into visual art and design. I really love design, and kind of by accident. I started designing the posters for all the school theatre shows and
someone
music
has
concerts.
to do it?
Oh, I loved it. I was really in my element, and I'd print out these huge big banners. I'd print out multiple A3 posters on the school printers, decorate the school campus in these campaigns, and it was fantastic. And actually, I sort of continued on that trajectory in my university years, and I set up a little business doing fringe shows, and that's when I started to think more carefully about the need for a digital platform in this case, rather than
particularly now. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, whoever thought of putting ads in the press, however many 100 years ago, obviously was sort of thinking in exactly the same way. How do you let the public know what's on?
Absolutely. It's definitely a service that's needed, and I think we deserve it. I mean, there's so much fantastic diversity of shows, of entertainment, of art exhibitions, the festivals, even sport as well, shouldn't forget that. And to have them all on one platform is fantastic. And it really is a celebration of diversity and quantity of options that we have.
Yeah, that's very true. But you lived in Melbourne for a while.
I did. I lived in Melbourne
What did you do there?
And Sydney, actually. So I grew up in
Nobody
Adelaide.
wanted to keep you at home? Kept you moving on, move on?
Oh, definitely an adventurous spirit, I would say. Not one to sit still. I mean, I studied my undergraduate degree here in Adelaide and then went on to do masters in architecture, actually, in Melbourne.
Completely. Well, no, it's not different really, is it? That's sort of completely almost the same because, again, you're designing something. You've got to think, what do people want?
Well, I think there's actually a lot of similarity between the way architects think and the way that software engineers and what we call now software architects think, to do with structures and to do with the project management of getting these things built. So there is a lot of overlap. Of course, you've also got the added element of user experience, so how you design something that people are going to enjoy and come back to time and time again, whether it's a building or a small device in your hands.
Of course. Yeah. Well, we were talking a couple of weeks ago to actually one of the lecturers here in the university about digital design and what it is that captures the eye, but also how the modern technology, as we're looking at this working its own little thing, we'll show you this in a minute. And he was explaining that what he's teaching is how do you capture the public's attention with something. And because you've only got, literally with the way our brain is now wiring itself, only a short time to capture someone's imagination before they will move on, because our attention span is getting shorter.
Absolutely.
So the question is, having something like this that moves quite quickly, but it doesn't move too fast that you're not controlling it.
Well, I think the question there is, what constitutes good design, and how do people, what makes a product enjoyable to use? And I think to answer that question, the designer is somebody who is sensitive to these things, and over time, over years, kind of builds a kind of memory bank of experiences that are strong. Whether it's a building in the context of an architect or an app. And, for City Guide, there are a lot of similarities here with applications like Netflix, Spotify, Apple, iTunes.
So did you investigate the way they were doing things first, or did you just think, no, I'm just going to start with a clean slate?
I think it sort of developed over time. I don't think it was a linear process. It was kind of messy. And, I look back on the designs that I started, conceptualising 6-7 years ago, and where it is today, it's in a very different place, thankfully. I'm happy to say.
Is that because you brought other people in?
No, it's because I wasn't happy with it and I knew it needed to be fine-tuned.
Oh, right,
and then I'd look at other things. I'd look at iTunes or I'd look at Netflix and say, well, how have they done this so well? How have they streamlined the experience? And I'd come back and adjust it accordingly.
So from being a young performer, dancer, to designing posters, programs, I guess, and those sort of things, to architecture, to moving out of your home state and moving... Where did you think you were going?
Well...
I know that's an odd question, but, entrepreneurs, they've always got to have the eye on the ball or the next big thing or the whatever. Before this, what was your next big thing? Where were you heading, did you think?
Well, I think just intuitively, I've known that all these different experiences and skills that I was acquiring in my teens and 20s was going to be useful for something, but I hadn't quite put my finger on what that thing was.
Right.
And, I studied architecture, but actually I worked in advertising for several years. I worked in advertising and later marketing management as well. So throughout this whole period of time...
You sound like you're 60 years old.
I behave like a 15-year-old though, let me tell you.
No, but you're 30?
I'm 31.
31?
There you go.
Goodness me. Okay, look, high achievers genuinely achieve. And that's what's so lovely to, first of all, have met you, and secondly, to see what you've done, and thirdly, because I think what you've done is going to really take off. So you've started it here in Adelaide, and the plan is to go...
Well, I mean, we're in conversation to see if we can take this regionally first in different parts of South Australia.
Oh, so, that would be brilliant.
If you want to visit the Riverlands or the Barossa Valley, there may be a section of City Guide specifically for those regions.
That's brilliant.
But it certainly does have the potential to travel elsewhere beyond the boundaries of South Australia. So we'll get it set up here first. Adelaide's my main focus at this point in time. And if we can get
Well, the good thing is with the festival on, you're really going to see how many times it's hit and whether it's working the way you want it to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to be back in just a moment. We're going to show you how it works because it's really simple, even for someone my age. We'll be back in a tick with Danny. Welcome back. Our special guest is Danny Brookes, who's the founding and managing director of City Guide. And I'm holding this wonderful tablet right here, and I'll show you what it looks like on the tablet and how easy it is to work. So first of all, if you want to know what's on, now, Danny, you should probably be navigating this, but I'll have a go. Let's see, I'm just going to scroll down to find the Adelaide Festival of Arts, and there it is there. And that will tell me exactly what's on. Oops. So just say I want to see that show there. So that will tell me about the show, and I scroll up and it will tell me the date and when it's on. And you can do that with virtually anything and everything that's on.
You can even click through to purchase tickets if you want. Try pressing the black bottom button.
Oh, there, okay. And that will take me through there.
And will take you straight to the ticket booking site for that particular
providing
event.
that our internet here is, yes, there you go, all happening. How do I get back home again, Danny?
Just press
Oh,
done in the top
done.
left. Yep.
There we go. Oh, and back home. So what I love about this is it could be venue-based, it could be a taste of entertainment-based, and along here you've got all the different things or places that you could or should want to go to, and then all of the information you can just basically scroll up and see what show you want to go to. Without going into enormous detail, the best thing to do is to actually log onto it and download it.
Yeah, in fact, you don't even need to log in. It's completely open access, so no sign up required.
No, okay, so I can just go straight to your site, press the button, and I'm in.
Yeah, and it's available as a website. So you can go into cityguide.com, which is particularly good on a larger
bigger screen, yeah.
Or you can download the app onto your tablet or phone. Yeah.
Do you know, it's interesting because the way that technology is sort of taken over our lives, it's technology in most cases to go and see something live instead of just playing around on your tablet or your phone or whatever. And that's what I love about it, because instead of being absorbed in what the tablet is, the tablet is telling you where to go, how to go, what it looks like, how to buy tickets and so on.
Yeah, look, it's,
Did you see this at the beginning? Is this what sort of said, that's what's needed?
I mean, the first time, I developed the design, but the first time I uploaded, there's several hundred events on this platform. The first time I did a big batch of events uploaded to the system, it was a fantastic feeling because no one's ever seen all of the options in the city consolidated on one platform like this for the first time. And I'm sure if anyone's watching this and goes and visits the website,
I hope someone's watching it.
It's really fantastic to see. You and me both, my friend.
Yeah, but there's another side of this, I suppose. Well, first of all, it's free to the public to download the app, to use the app. There's no charge whatsoever.
Correct.
But if you, at the moment, it's still free because this is your introduction to the app. But eventually, obviously, companies, theatre companies, bands, whatever, will pay to advertise on the app because otherwise you would be starving.
Well, we're looking at a few different pricing models at the moment, but the long-term goal is that if we have enough of a user base, that venues and production companies will want to pay a nominal fee to have their events featured.
Well, as somebody in that position, I would be paying a huge amount more to take out an ad in the paper, as the old way used to be. You took an ad in the paper, you put 20,000 towards a show or something, and then you waited for the phone to ring. Well, now we don't wait for the phone to ring because it's all done online, as now the information about the show is online.
That's true, and also, I mean, a lot of other, a lot of events are also promoted on social media channels as well. It can be very expensive, and it tends to work better for individual shows. Whereas on this
but
platform,
you've got to know what you're looking for, again, or you've got to be a friend of, or you've got to be connected to that person in the first place.
This is true. And to be able to view this and see all your options side by side, this weekend we could go and see 30 different shows. Here are those 30 options right here in one page is fantastic.
Providing, of course, that the show, well, now they can do it for free, but later they won't be, but providing you put the information there in the first place.
Yes. Provided that those events are on the system,
yes, that's
you'll
what I mean.
You'll see those 30 options.
And that's where I think it's going to work for everybody because, again, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you want to do when you grow up then?
No such thing.
What's your next big challenge? Is it getting it out there further?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this thing still has a long way to go. There are a lot of different directions we can take this platform. So what we've built here is a kind of a foundation for the thing, but many different directions we can take it moving forward. I would love to build up more of a social profile for City Guides so that we can have a bigger social following and start generating content to raise awareness of shows and sports and entertainment options on those mediums. But there's more in the pipeline too.
Well, I was impressed in your opening of the app that you got some government support as well, because obviously the member that spoke at your opening could see the value.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very privileged to have Minister David Pisoni, who's Minister for Innovation and Skills, present on the night, and fantastic to have his endorsement of the product. We also had, of course, Rachel Healy, who's the Artistic Director for Adelaide Festival. And, I think it says a lot when we have these key leaders in the industry stepping up and supporting initiatives like this in Adelaide. It helps us get started and it helps legitimise the product in the industry who are otherwise maybe unfamiliar with this new technology.
But Danny, I think part of, for like a major festival, for example, they would have to employ a whole team of people to set all of this up on their site. The fact that there is sort of a universal site that these things can happen, it means that it's going to be a lot easier for them because, like, here's the package, you do the rest of the work for us. That's what I see it as.
Yeah, so, as the public, you certainly see one side of City Guide. On the back end of it, we do have some fairly sophisticated technology happening whereby venues, production companies, artists can log in, upload their event details, tag each other in that information, and you're right, that information can filter out to many different platforms. So, for example, let's say you upload an event, not only will it appear on City Guide, but potentially also on your own website, generate Facebook events, Google events, and other tourism sites as well.
So it's sort of just sucking everything together really from a central point and
it's making it a lot easier for people to promote events.
Well, I think easier is the name of the game because we're just talking about recording the screen here that we've done, and that's beyond my comprehension to actually do that because I don't use that facility. And so to get an expert, it's the same as anything. Like you go to a doctor if you're sick. If you want something done, you go to somebody who's a professional to do it. You don't lay concrete by yourself.
Well, I mean, you say this, but, I went into this project knowing so much and having to learn a hell of a lot along the way as well. So definitely learn these skills as you go.
Yes, but as an entrepreneur, that's part of the game, isn't it? Because then you've got to find the people to give you the information as you go along.
Absolutely. And finding a good team that can support you throughout that is obviously essential.
So for all this time that you've been putting this together, how did you eat?
Well, I have savings from, past lives, I suppose, from jobs, working.
I'll tell you why I ask you that question. Because a lot of people don't realise that people that set themselves up to find something and finalise something may have had years of starvation to get there. It's like the starving artist syndrome.
I started out literally living in my parents' house in a spare bedroom kind of thing just to get this thing up and running, and they've been incredibly supportive of this. But yeah, you're right. It is an alternative lifestyle. You have to really believe in it and want to pursue it if you're going to make this thing happen. It's not a cushy career path
it's not.
That this path is.
No, so. And I absolutely understand that. And you said about your parents, and when you launched the app, you were thanking your parents profusely for their assistance. Did they believe in you the whole time just because you were their son, or did you convince them that you were a genius?
Oh, neither. They still think I'm crazy, let me tell you. No, I think, COVID hit. And I knew I had to have a crack at this app, that this was going to help the industry bounce back when things started to open up.
Well, now that's a very good point. The industry bounce back, because this is one of the biggest problems that we all have.
Well, I mean, you were asking me about my parents, though, and they thought I was completely nuts to be investing my time and savings in an app in the midst of a pandemic. But, you know, there's always going to be a silver lining. There's always going to be a reversal of that. And I think I'm hoping
if you believe in it, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the timing's good, so let's see.
Well, the timing is good just for us to take a break. We'll be back in a tick. Danny Brookes is our special guest, and we're just looking at the different genres that you can sort of click onto. Blues, maybe, or perhaps I'll take She's in the Middle. Don't you love pressing screens and seeing things happen?
Well, when it loads. You might have to press it again. Here we go.
There we go. So that gives you a bit of information about the show. I can also get a trailer.
Yeah, so this shows you the family-friendly genre or section of shows. And then from there you can click into individual shows, and some of them have video trailers as part of them, and some of them also include Spotify audio playlists as well. So this is perfect for bands and musical performances. You can very quickly sample the sound of the performer before committing to ticket purchase. And of course, it's a great way to discover up-and-coming talent as well.
Right, so that's what it looks like, and it's just available to use for free, which everyone should really embrace, I think, because it just will open the world up for all the performers, the roadies, the venue operators, everyone that's connected with the entertainment industry that haven't really been able to work, certainly in places like Victoria. Here in South Australia, we've been lucky. We've still been able to do a little bit with restricted audiences. But I guess all that information is there as well.
Absolutely. We're opening it all up to the public to make it super accessible.
You're a guy. You're a really good guy, Danny. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming on the program. I think this information, it's one of those things we think, now, is this a commercial for something? But it isn't. It's free. And I've stressed that very much to everybody so that they understand this isn't a commercial for your app. This is about a service that's available to the general public.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really hope they enjoy using it as well.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And all those years of hard work have come together for that. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Thank you so much, Danny. Next time we see you, hopefully we'll be on this program. So keep yourself nice till then. Bye.